Man, I got to tell you, I was glued to the TV for this one.
Oh, yeah.
I was.
It was a good one.
And when Vanderbilt scored that last touchdown, I was speechless. Vanderbilt 40, Alabama 35.
Wow.
No, you can't even make this stuff up.
It's truly historic.
This wasn't just like, a win. This felt like a total earthquake in the SEC.
It really does. You're talking about a team that hasn't beaten Alabama since 1984, taking down the #1 team in the nation.
Right. Crazy.
Yeah, this was not just a victory. This was a statement.
Absolutely a statement. Okay, so we've got this AP article, right?
Yeah.
And it really breaks down this game and all the implications.
Okay.
You ready to kind of dive into this thing?
Yeah, let's dig in.
Okay, so one of the things I found really interesting is how this goes way beyond just this one game.
Yeah.
The article talks about how Vanderbilt's coach, Clark Lea, he's actually a Vanderbilt alum. And for him, this wasn't just about, getting a win, but rebuilding this entire program.
And what's so fascinating is you think about the program that he inherited. Vanderbilt, they've always been, I don't want to say an easy win,
Right.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're not at the top of the SEC, right?
Right.
He's talked about this. He wants to change the culture. He wants to shift expectations.
Yeah.
And this win kind of injects his vision into reality. It makes it real.
Absolutely. It's like they slayed the dragon.
Yeah.
And suddenly Vanderbilt football doesn't feel like,
Yeah.
the easy win on your schedule.
Yeah. Right. And just think about what this says to kids who are thinking about playing for them, potential recruits.
Right.
They've always had that academic prestige,
Sure.
but now they can add this on top of it. Like, hey, we can compete with the best on the field, off the field. That's a game changer.
Huge. And the thing is, it's not like this was a fluke, right?
No.
This wasn't just some last-minute crazy play.
Luck.
They dominated. They held the ball for more than 42 minutes. 42 minutes. Against Alabama?
It's unheard of.
How do you even do that?
That goes back to coaching, to Leah, and how they prepared. They controlled the clock. They converted on those third downs. It was like they outcoached, one of the best to ever do it. They were ready.
Really, it's a masterclass in strategy. Okay, and speaking of executing the game plan, we got to talk about Vanderbilt's quarterback, Diego Pavia.
Right.
This guy transferred from New Mexico State. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about New Mexico State.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not exactly known for their football program.
They're not exactly a football powerhouse.
Right.
But get this. His old coach from New Mexico State and his offensive coordinator, they both came to Vanderbilt with him.
Wow.
It's like this whole reunion tour.
That's wild. I did not know that.
Right. And that's actually, that little detail is really crucial
Ew.
to understanding, how this all happened.
Okay.
Pavia, he wasn't highly recruited, out of high school,
Okay.
played for a smaller school, probably felt like he had something to prove. And then he gets to Vanderbilt. It's like he brought that same energy, I'm going to defy the odds.
I love that.
The article, it even says he played with a chip on his shoulder.
I bet he did.
This wasn't just athleticism. This was something more,
Oh, yeah.
this was fire. This was, I'm going to prove you wrong.
I love it. It's like no one gave him a chance, right?
Right.
So the pressure's off. They can just play loose, play hungry. And with a quarterback like that, who's got something to prove?
Oh, yeah.
That's dangerous.
It's dangerous. And honestly, this whole thing, it's like a movie or something.
I know.
You've got the overlooked quarterback, the underestimated coach.
Yep.
Everyone's writing him off.
Totally.
And then, boom,
Yeah.
they pull off this incredible upset. You can't help but root for him.
The underdog story.
It really is. And you know what else is interesting? The article, it mentions how Vanderbilt, they were doing these massive stadium renovations.
Oh, really?
Like the whole time this is all happening.
Wow.
They were literally rebuilding their home field while they were rebuilding their program.
That's kind of poetic.
Right. Talk about a metaphor. It's like,
I love that.
okay, so let's be real here. They had this huge win.
Huge.
But, look at their schedule, right? They still got to play Texas. They got Tennessee coming up. Those are some tough games.
For sure.
So is this like a Cinderella story? Or is this, just a one-time thing? What do you think?
I think this is a massive, like, injection of energy, for that program. It proves they can play with anybody. They're at that level. They belong on the field with Alabama, and that that changes everything for those guys. That belief is contagious.
So you think even if they hit some bumps, later in the season,
right,
this could still have like a long-term impact?
Oh, absolutely. This goes beyond just like team morale, right?
Yeah.
The whole SEC is looking at them differently now.
Yeah.
Coaches, players, analysts, everyone's like, hold on, what's going on in Nashville?
Right, they're not a pushover anymore.
Exactly. This changes everything. And it forces everyone else to, like, reevaluate what Vanderbilt is.
It's like they've earned their seat at the table now.
Yes.
They're not an afterthought. They're a contender.
Right, and that, that does.
Wow.
Recruiting, funding, media attention, all that stuff gets amplified when you've got a win like this.
Yeah, it's like they completely flip the script.
Totally.
Like Vanderbilt used to be that team. You're like, okay, yeah, we got them this week.
Right.
Now, everyone's looking at them sideways.
They're the ones to be scared of now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just that they won.
Right.
It's how they did it. The discipline, the way they stuck to the game plan.
You could tell they were prepared.
And they executed. It's like they knew they could take on this giant.
It shows a lot about the coach, too.
Oh, absolutely.
To have that faith, to go up against the #1 team and not back down.
Yeah, that's going to be so inspiring for those players,
Oh, yeah.
To know that your coach, he believes in you that much. Even when, let's face it, no one else did.
Totally. This wasn't just, a win for Vanderbilt. This was Clark Lea. This was his vision.
Oh, for sure.
He inherited a tough situation, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But he had a plan. He got the right players,
Yeah.
the ones who fit what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And he built that belief that they could compete.
He really did. Okay, so
Big win.
huge win. Everyone's wondering what happens next.
Right.
Can they keep this up?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? The SEC, it's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
They've got some tough games ahead. To play like that every single week, that's a tall order.
So you're not ready to like hand them the championship trophy just yet.
Let's just say I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
Look, this was huge. This was a big step, but it's just one step. What I love about this is that Vanderbilt, they've arrived now.
No.
They've announced themselves. They've got the talent. They've got the coaching. Now we know they have the belief.
So what's next?
It's about proving it wasn't a fluke,
Right, it's about building on it.
Yeah. This is what makes college football so great.
I agree.
You just never know,
You really don't.
It's full of surprises, and Vanderbilt, I think they just reminded everyone anything's possible.
I love it when an underdog story comes along, Makes you believe that anything can happen.
Me too. And who knows, maybe they'll inspire another team out there,
Right.
Someone else who's been grinding, waiting for their moment.
Maybe this is it. Maybe this is what does it.
Yeah.
Wow. What a game. What a story.
For sure.
Thanks for breaking it all down with me.
My pleasure. Always fun to talk some football.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. That's going to do it for this deep dive. Until next time.